Hey, welcome into the Snap Fantasy Football Podcast, your weekly ritual of getting your lineups right before game time. We're going live all the way from now, 11 Eastern, to game time, or pretty close to 12:45. We're covering everything today, and we have a laundry list of inactives here today. Unfortunately, a couple people trending in, activated from IR, which we'll get to in a second, but I got to acknowledge my co-host, the star of this podcast, Lando. What's going on, Lando?
Hey, Mac. I feel rough a little bit this morning. I'm tired. Long
Too much trick-or-treating?
working shift yesterday. Yeah, I wish. I'll be going to that grocery store to pick up some candy, though. I'll tell you that for free.
That's
this is a big,
by the way.
yeah, it's exactly,
Going day after,
big,
scooping it up on half price.
That's
Yes,
it.
sir.
That's it.
I feel that.
As you can see by our graphic, there are a ton of outs this week. This is a really tricky week for start sits. Tricky week for your fantasy teams. You might have to start a guy like J.K. Dobbins. You might have to start the backups for Mixon and Aaron Jones. And we're here to help you out, try to sift through some of the stuff. Maybe we're looking at Jermichael Hasty, that kind of stuff. We're getting down and dirty here. And I'm excited to go through everyone and answer all these questions that are piling up here. Should be great, Mac. I'm excited.
If you listened to the podcast yesterday, you would have known a lot of this information, and we talked about some of the guys that were trending out who had already been declared out, and if their handcuffs or replacements were worth playing this week. So if you have at all missed the show, you can go ahead and check out the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can get a podcast. Just search the Snap Fantasy Football Podcast, and we'll get you up to date every single week. But if you missed it, out as of right now, Michael Thomas, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Chris Godwin, Julian Edelman, N'Keal Harry, Emmanuel Sanders still in COVID protocol. Jamison Crowder not on this list is also Brashad Perriman. And I think Mark Ingram has been downgraded to out from questionable. So that list is big. In the questionable right now, Chris Carson looks to be about a 50-50 game time decision. He's going to test out that ankle. But Chris Carson, Carlos Hyde. So, I mean, we could be in for a DJ Dallas day should both of them not play. Travis Homer still in question as well. Dalvin Cook, Tyler Higbee, Damian Harris, and Phillip Lindsay. Now, activated this week, Allen Robinson. He was activated late in the week. He didn't practice at all this week, but he did pass concussion protocol and will play today. I am starting him, but I'm limiting my expectations. And then Jalen Reagor, Michael Pittman, Dallas Goddard, all activated off of their IR. And I think I want to start there, Landon. The tight end position has been pretty rough as of late. We saw Richard Rodgers absolutely bust out 8 receptions, 85 yards last week. Are you playing Dallas Goddard in what seems to be a pretty good matchup against the Cowboys this week?
Like you said, Mac, the tight end position is so volatile. I think you can absolutely lock in Dallas Goddard here. I think if you have Richard Rodgers and you're in a tough spot, he's a startable asset. But if we're making projections right now and Goddard is fully back, fully healthy, this guy's a top 10 tight end. No question. So there's a lot right now. Like right now, Robert Tunyan could be a top 12 tight end, which that just speaks volumes for the position as a whole. You should slot in Goddard ahead of some of these fringe guys, no question.
In 2 leagues, I was playing Richard Rodgers. I activated Dallas Goddard from my IR, pulled him off the bench, dropped Rodgers, and
beauty.
Go from there.
And you know what? That's a high-risk play, Mac, but I think you have to do it. Goddard's a phenomenal talent. Unless you're rolling with a Waller or an Andrews, you gotta light up your Dallas Goddard shares.
Oh, absolutely. In a league where I own Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas, and Devontae Adams, usually a very star-studded trio of wide receivers, I'm looking this week for Jalen Reagor to be a big play along with Dallas Goddard against, again, a Swiss cheese Dallas Cowboys defense who can't seem to stop anybody. In every game that Jalen Reagor's played in, Carson Wentz has hit him downfield. Do we see that again today? What is your prediction?
I think we do. It's the Dallas defense, and we're gonna have some questions about Carson Wentz this week and where we have him. He's been surprisingly a very good fantasy asset. Like I remember watching that New York Giants game, and Carson Wentz just had that kind of play about him that he could do anything.
Yep.
He was trying to make probably too much work, but he made it work because he is an elite quarterback. He's just that whole team is just ravaged with injuries, but now they're starting to get healthy, and it should be good for Carson Wentz and company. Travis Fulgham, like light him up.
Yep.
I think you can stream Reagor if you're desperate. I'd like to see it first.
For sure, but with given all the injuries and some of the teams on bye week, in a deeper league, maybe you've got like
you can do it as a dart throw, no question.
Dart throw, your second flex play, something like that. I'm going Reagor over Pittman. If I have those two options coming back to my team, I'm staying away from Michael Pittman this week, going up against the Lions. The Colts passing game the volume hasn't been there. It's been really spread around. We've seen the Mo Alley Cox game. We've seen Trey Burton have a game. We haven't seen really T.Y. Hilton do much in terms of bigger games. So I feel like the ceiling right now for the Colts wide receivers is a little low. I'm staying away from Pittman in his return.
And Mac, before we continue, I do want to congratulate the boys here. We have surpassed that 500 subscriber mark. Thanks to all of you. We've been grinding every single week. Producer Scott's putting out videos like crazy. Mac's doing a ton of graphics. We are really kind of hitting our stride here. We've got a great Chris Godwin video coming out on Monday, so stay tuned for that. If you have other ideas for videos, get our comments, get our DMs, and stuff you want to know. We want to go a little bit more in depth on your players particularly. So drop us those questions, and we will probably do videos about them.
Absolutely. All right, Lando, let's get to the questions here. That's what the people came for, and that's what they are going to get. So, Hunter Tyndall, I got Harrison Bryant and Evan Ingram. Who do I start? So, assuming a half PPR, where are you leaning? We've got Evan Ingram going up against the Bucks and Harrison Bryant going up against the Raiders.
Yeah, the Evan Ingram matchup is tough. Evan Ingram could have caught that game-winning touchdown this past game, but it didn't happen. So I'm still going to start Evan Ingram. It's going to be tough, but you kind of got it. I'm not buying into the 2-touchdown game from Harrison Bryant. I think he has upside individually, but I'm just not going to kind of chase after those points.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way as you, looking at what both the Raiders and the Bucks give up to the fantasy tight ends. They're both about middle of the road. The Bucks are 20th against the tight end, and the Raiders are 17th. I'm with Landon. I'm going to slightly lean Evan Ingram, hoping that the volume still remains there. If you're in a full PPR, I think that's even better for Ingram's floor, but that's where we would both go, Evan Ingram. It's close, but Austin Hooper projects to be back this week or the week after, so Harrison Bryant's stint might be fairly short. Easy. What's going on, my man? What's going on? Full PPR flex, wide receiver running back question. Claypool, Kendrick Bourne, A.J. Dillon. I mean, easy. We talked this morning. I know that question came up for you. I think I would lean Claypool out of the three. I wasn't really pleased with what I saw to A.J. Dillon last week and his opportunity. This should be a run-heavy approach for the Green Bay Packers in a potential snow game with lots of wind. Landon was saying up to 50-mile-an-hour gusts reported in Green Bay this morning, so that doesn't look great. And then Jamal Williams or Myles Gaskin, I would lean Jamal Williams. I think, like I said, the run game is going to be heavy. He looked great last week in the absence of Aaron Jones. I think he's a great option.
Yeah, both running attacks for the Packers and the Vikings are going to be a locked and loaded start. I do even think Madison could be a sneaky play in a deep league, just because the groin has not completely healed for Dalvin Cook, although he will be active for that game. But yeah, it's don't overthink it, Eric. Start Claypool, and start Jamal Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek Reyes, thinking of trading away Chris Godwin. What should I be looking for in return? I'm also in need of a running back or quarterback. I have Justin Herbert. So Justin Herbert is interesting because we were talking a little bit about him off camera. The perception on Justin Herbert right now is that he's balling out. He's playing out of his mind. And to an extent, that is very true.
Totally.
His third and fourth down completion, conversion percentage is quite high. He's like 90th percentile. He's making the big plays downfield, but he is missing a lot of the shorter throws that he should make. So he projects to be a big playability, highlight reel type player, and for fantasy, that's what you want. I think if you've got Justin Herbert at this point, you're okay at quarterback. I think he's very streamable. He's mobile. He's super athletic. He will give you a higher floor because of what he can do with his legs, and he's got a big arm. And all of those things combined make for a great fantasy asset. If I had Chris Godwin and I wanted to get out from under him before the unknowns of Antonio Brown hit this roster, I might be trying to do a 2-for-1, grab some depth. Maybe you go and get like a Ronald Jones and a struggling wide receiver. Ronald Jones and Robert Woods might be a great little duo that you could pick up. Look for something like that. But if I'm trading an asset like Chris Godwin, I'm going to diversify.
Yeah, Derek, you're a great candidate for getting into our DMs. What I would say to you right now is look at the contending teams. You got to look at the top of the board in your league, and maybe one of those guys lost an Odell Beckham, or still has Michael Thomas banged up. And he's so well off that he's ready to make a trade. He has depth at running back. So you need to go to them and be like, all right, you don't need your blank player. You don't need your Todd Gurley on your team or your I'm trying to trade for Jonathan Taylor wherever I can.
For sure.
The Colts have some of the best matchups for the running back position rest of season. If you could get a Miles Sanders potentially for a guy, so you're trading a hurt player for hurt player, but you need a running back. Get a Miles Sanders on your team because the Eagles have a great schedule for the running back position. So that's the kind of strategy you're looking for. That's the kind of strategy that gets you in our DMs and gets you championships.
That's right. Mason Higdon. What's up, Mason? Tough question here. Lamar Jackson or Carson Wentz? This might sound crazy, but I'm going Carson Wentz this week.
Yeah, I would play Carson Wentz as well. I've had some guys talk to me about like Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, and it's Lamar played Pittsburgh, or the Ravens played Pittsburgh twice last year.
They will every year.
The first game, Lamar only put up 15 points. The last game, he sat out. Pittsburgh has an incredible defense, and that was last year with Lamar having an MVP season. Averaging what felt like 40 points per game, breaking slates left and right and winning you championships by himself. The thing is Lamar can always break the game and take it by himself. He always has that chance. Maybe his knee is healthy and better and he's just ready to ball out this game, but we haven't seen that yet against a good team. He did that against Washington, I think, and took it 40 yards.
But here's the thing, Lando.
But that's not what
the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens are number 1 and 2 in blitz tendency. They are
and that normally makes Lamar get out and run.
He's gonna have to. That's the thing. Like the Baltimore Ravens just picked up Yannick Ngakoue. On both sides of the ball, there's going to be constant pressure. Pittsburgh gets to the quarterback on 50% of dropbacks. They've been rushing the quarterback at a crazy rate. I think both quarterbacks are going to be pressured heavy. If Lamar can use his legs and exploit some holes, they'll be all right. But I think when you put up against a really, really good defense in a divisional matchup where seemingly anything can happen, yes, Baltimore is at home, but I'd rather play Carson Wentz, who's playing a beaten and battered Dallas Cowboys defense, who's giving up top 10 fantasy points across the board, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I'm going to go with Carson Wentz over Lamar Jackson for those reasons. The matchup's easier, and Carson Wentz is the quarterback 6 on the year. It's not like he's disappointed from a fantasy perspective.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I do want to talk to you, Mac, about the revenge game narrative for Le'Veon Bell. I think we're going to get a lot of Lev Bell questions today. They play the Jets. It's going to be, I think there's a 20-point spread for the Chiefs right now.
20?
And
this is like a college game.
What? I know. So so the revenge narrative is a little bit worn out. Like there's so many players play on so many teams, and but if there is one to be had, I do believe Le'Veon Bell will get in the end zone. I think if I were to bet at any time touchdown for Le'Veon Bell, like I think that's good money. I think that's good money. They're gonna put him in. They know they're gonna help Lev score unless Clyde Edwards takes it out for him 30 yards and it just doesn't work out. I think game script, Le'Veon Bell is gonna run ham against the Jets. Now he's not rated.
It could be garbage time.
He's a running back 2 for me, a back end running back 2. What are your thoughts on Lev generally? And where give me your thoughts.
If I have him.
Yeah, you're not going out of your way to play him.
No, not at all. I think revenge game. Like he'll be utilized for sure. This game could get out of hand. There could be a lot of garbage time where they want to keep their prized possession, their future on the sidelines with Clyde Edwards, and let Le'Veon Bell does what a veteran should do. So I think he'll be on the field. It should still be the Clyde Edwards-Helaire show, unless Andy Reid has some alternative agenda where he wants to squash Adam Gates and the Jets for basically gifting him Le'Veon Bell, which I don't think is the
Oh, Mac, I heard this great stat about Andy Reid.
Okay.
So, Andy Reid, when playing very basic teams and teams that they're projecting to win, their offense is so vanilla, it's not even funny. Very similar personnel. They don't get fancy. It's a very boring game script.
Because they just want to get the win.
But when...
Because they just want to get the win. Andy Reid ain't playing fantasy.
That's it. They know they're going to win. Like, they really, I know it didn't work out against the Raiders, I mean. But, and maybe this game they just open the playbook back up. But when they play against a team like the Steelers or the Ravens last year, they use so many different personnel, so many different looks. The defense didn't know what they're doing. Like, they really opened the playbook for Pat Mahomes, and it's like they don't even know what's going on. That's why they're such a good team. So it's interesting that this could just be a boring kind of game script. It could just be a run, pass kind of thing for the Chiefs. I hadn't heard these personnel groupings before for the Chiefs. So, against these tough matchups, they are in such a better space because they're such a good team.
It's just a good space for them to try different things out and see if some plays that they've been working on in practice are they can execute. It's like, let's get some reps in a game that doesn't really matter.
Like a guy like McCall.
I want to skip ahead. I want to skip through some of these questions, Lando, though.
Yeah, all right.
Noah Rutledge, Rashard Higgins, or Scottie Miller. This one is tricky. I think they're both in similar spots. You would want to say Rashard Higgins in the absence of Odell Beckham Jr. is going to step up. I kind of want to go Scottie Miller, who has been quite productive in Chris Godwin's absence.
Yep, I like Scottie Miller here as well.
Zach. Congrats on 500 subs. Thanks, Zach. You are part of that milestone, so thanks for the subscription and support, and all of you that have said thanks. We do put on the show, but you guys are the reason why it keeps going, so thanks to you guys as well. N3 on 1 C3? I don't know. Hey, guys. Claypool, Woods, or Beasley at the flex, Bernard or Chris Carson at running back. So I'll go with the running back one first. I'm going to go with Gio in what seems to be a pretty good play. The Titans defense is fairly mediocre. It's not what it was last year. Gio Bernard over Chris Carson. I just don't want to take the chance that Carson doesn't play and get caught with that, and then or does play and is limited, And then Claypool, Woods, Beasley. Woods for me, Landon.
Well, yeah, Woods and Bernard. Absolutely.
Woods, Bernard, love it. Matt Daly, welcome into the show. By the way, we only have 8 likes, but there's 16 of you watching. So go ahead, click that like button if you like what you've heard so far, and we'll get to your question if you're waiting. Matt Daly, pick one in a full PPR: Justin Jefferson, Robert Woods, Deonte Johnson. Ooh. This is upside versus volume. Which one do you want to go with, Landon?
Pick one out of these guys. I think based on the weather and Gus, I'm going to make that a tough start for Jefferson. Not that it's unreasonable, but I would go Robert Woods in this scenario. I know Deonte's phenomenal. He has the toughest matchup out of everyone. So that's where I'm just going to go with the safety with Robert Woods. And for me, it would go Woods, Deonte, Jefferson. But we all know that Jefferson has the highest
Justin
upside.
Jefferson does have the highest graded cornerback right now as per Pro Football Focus, and Jair Alexander shadowing him today in a bad weather game. I just think those two things combined don't seem like a good fit. And then Kirk Cousins has had really bad days at Lambeau in poor weather. I'm actually going to go with Deonte Johnson. He does have the hardest matchup, but I can't stray away from a healthy wide receiver who had 15 targets last week. I'm going to go with Deonte for the volume. In a full PPR, I think if he catches 8 to 10 passes, you're probably really happy with what you get from Deonte.
We missed a question from JP.
Oh.
He asked, should I drop Cam Newton, Jerick McKinnon, or Gus Edwards? Who is the starter in Baltimore with Ingram hurt?
Sorry, JP. Should you drop Cam Newton, Jerick McKinnon, or Gus Edwards? I mean, I'm probably dropping Cam Newton.
Yeah, I'm dropping Cam Newton, JP, as well.
And I think
you want to still hang on to Jerick McKinnon in case his legs decide to wake up from that rest, and he's used like he was early on with Mostert out.
In terms of the starter
Gus
in Baltimore,
Edwards
though,
could be.
I don't even know if you want to call it a start. I think it's going to be an equal share of that backfield between Edwards and J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going to drop Gus Edwards. I think Gus Edwards has more attempts, and it's possible that Dobbins has more touches.
That's fair.
But it's going to be close.
Are we on Spotify? Yes, we are. Apple. That's why we ask you guys to rate and review the podcast on Apple, because that is the only place that you can do so. But we're on Spotify, Google, basically anywhere you guys get a podcast, we are there. JP, sorry for missing your question, brother. Moving down, Madden. Oh no, Xander. Jamal Williams, Gio Bernard, Boston Scott, pick 2. I'm going Jamal Williams and Boston Scott.
Yeah, it's close for me as well. I'm going to go Jamal Williams and Gio Bernard.
Beautiful. Marquise Poole, ex-co-host of the show, longtime bro in my heart. Who has it easier today, Lamar versus Pitt or Russ versus San Fran?
You got to play Russ, Marky. You got to play Russ versus San Francisco.
I think you do. You know what's funny, though, Lando, is I've been kind of waiting for the Seattle Seahawks to go a little bit conservative with their game plan, because they've literally been letting Russ air it out. 20 targets last week for Tyler Lockett, 3 touchdowns, got it downfield a ton. He's been taking shots. They've been winning games. It's paid off. But with a healthy backfield, they're going to want to pound the ball on the ground. And I think at some point we're going to see Russ kind of turn the corner towards being more conservative Russell Wilson. That's my projection.
They just don't have a healthy backfield right now, and that's where it lends them to getting DK Metcalf involved, Tyler Lockett, even David Moore, because it could be the DJ Dallas show, and they're not going to run DJ Dallas. He's not a through the tackles guy. He's go out in space and try to make some moves in the open field. So that lends to Russ just keep on cooking.
I don't disagree with you, sir. This is a tough one. At the flex from Madden, would you play Malcolm Brown or Dallas Goddard? Getting spicy.
Malcolm Brown or Dallas Goddard?
I think I think the person with the higher upside here is Malcolm Brown. And that's just to say that, that's really, really close. I think if Malcolm Brown is going to be the play for you, he has to get into the end zone. Because Darrell Henderson has been the lead back.
I think
Darrell Henderson has been the lead
we have
back.
we have yet to see Cam Akers get involved. I can't project for him to get involved this game at all. So we should see Malcolm Brown have a steady dose of attempts. Now, Darrell Henderson is leading that backfield against Miami. Miami's defense has been kind of sneaky good. Not like great against any particular position, but just okay everywhere. So yeah, I think my opinion upside is with Dallas Goddard getting back fully healthy. I just don't know if he is. We haven't seen him, so I guess the floor play to me is still Malcolm Brown if he's upside to you as well. So the play is Malcolm Brown.
At the end of the day, Dallas Goddard is returning from injury, so typically we don't like to play players in their return from an injury. I mean, given if you were starting Dallas Goddard at the tight end position, I would be more willing to say, go ahead and give you that advice. But if you can go with a guy who's been pretty consistent, been getting the work, I go Malcolm Brown in a flex position there.
Malcolm Brown just isn't on any of my teams. Like, I'd rather pick up a higher upside player like a Mike Williams, Sterling Shepard, Traquan Aguilar than having a Malcolm Brown kind of just sit and kind of start him, but could have like a nothing game too. But hey, that's just me.
I've got Rodgers and Herbert. Which should I keep moving forward? I think Herbert has the most tradability right now, so I would keep Rodgers, who's been working at a pretty solid level this year, and I would sell some of that hype on Justin Herbert. Yeah,
so in that scenario exactly, you got to look at the teams that are at the top, see if any of them have a Matt Stafford, and if they do, get Herbert on their squad and trade them for position like wide receiver, running back.
Yeah, Rodgers doesn't have an easy playoff schedule. It's middle,
but you can still stream like a Jimmy Garoppolo and a Carson, or not a Carson Wentz, a Derek Carr week to week. Like there's streamers available for you.
Oh, for sure. At the end of the day, though, which one has more tradability? It's Justin Herbert right now with his big games the last couple weeks. So I would go ahead and trade him and feel pretty good with Aaron Rodgers with the healthy Devontae Adams and hopefully.
Great question, Hunter.
Back. Yeah, really good. Justin Jackson or Tevin Coleman coming off of IR in a full PPR. I'm going Justin Jackson. I'm not taking a chance with that San Fran backfield.
Yeah, I think it's Justin Jackson.
After what Shanahan pulled last week, where everything lined up to be a Jerick McKinnon week, and then there's no news that he's going to be rested willingly. That was annoying, and so I don't want to go down that road again. So I'm just going to stay away. BMO, start Melvin Gordon, Justin Jackson, or Latavius Murray. It's got to be Melvin Gordon for me.
Yeah, for sure. It's Melvin Gordon. It's not like
and Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay's active today.
He is active?
He is active. So he cleared concussion protocol. We're not sure how much he's going to be involved, but still Melvin Gordon presents the mix of floor, and if he gets into the end zone, that's what you're hoping for. Where neither Justin Jackson or Latavius, you're really hoping for a touchdown. Latavius is a sneaky play. It's just it didn't work out last week. It could be the same script this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Angelo Nunez, help guys, Cole Beasley or Nelson Aguilar in a standard league. So this is non-PPR related. Which side are you leaning towards, Lando?
Right away, I'm kind of leaning.
Are you about to go Cole Beasley?
I mean, you could say that for either one. You going Aguilar? Really? You trust Aguilar? Right? I think it is Beasley. I do think
so as well. And funny enough, Cole Beasley, wide receiver 23 on the year right now. He is he's a wide receiver 2. He's been sneaky, and Josh Allen continues to hit him in the slot. So I'd probably go Cole Beasley. I know, obviously, if it was a PPR, it'd be different. Would definitely be a Cole Beasley, but I still think I'm going there.
Correct. Yeah. Maybe Aguilar's the real. Maybe he's a Devontae Parker type player. That breakout after being disappointing for a while. But yeah, I think it's
Le'Veon Bell or Corey Davis.
Le'Veon
for sure. Stephon Diggs or Adam Thielen in a full PPR. This is a tough question. The two former Vikings receiver, or not, I guess one former Viking receiver, the former duo paired against each other. I know that the weather is bad in Green Bay, and so does that temper your expectations on Adam Thielen? Would you drop him slightly due to that? We know that Stephon Diggs is going up against the Patriots today, which are, I believe, without Stephon Gilmore.
Either way, the New England Patriots are going to take away Diggs as best they can. If you believe in that, it's tricky for both sides. Neither of them are locks, but they have those names where you're not going to sit them generally. Like, unless you have this really difficult scenario, you're not going to sit either one. I would start Adam Thielen. My confidence level is not extremely high. Adam Thielen seems to always get his. We had lots of questions this week about Thielen and that people are just worried about him. And it's like, hold on. Adam Thielen is a top 5 points per game wide receiver right now. He was on bye last week. You can't just forget about how good Thielen is. He's always looked for in the red zone. Like, he's just as some of the best sure-handed wide receivers in the league.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Stephon Diggs with Stephon Gilmore out. So that elite corner coverage is not going to be there against Stephon Diggs, and I think he will be relied upon by Josh Allen heavily. Between Josh Allen's mobility and Diggs' ability to get open, I think Billy B is going to be tough against the Bills today. Melvin Gordon, Brandon Ayuk, or Allen Robinson. It's between Gordon and Robinson for me. I know Robinson was just activated this Friday. He didn't practice this week, so there's that. I'm probably going Melvin Gordon for the safety here. Haven't loved what I've been seeing out of Nick Foles, even though Allen Robinson has been the most targeted wide receiver on a per-game basis. I'm still going Melvin Gordon.
Yep, I like
Herbert
it, Mac.
or Josh Allen. I'm going Josh Allen. I gotta stay.
Yeah, I'm going Josh Allen there as well. There's going to be a game, guys, that Herbert kind of comes back down to earth, like Mac was saying, and has a regular percentile on third down conversion, and is just not. There's a reason why Tua and Burrow were taken before him. Burrow's just been hit in the backfield so much. I hope that the Bengals don't ruin him as a quarterback, because every time he snaps the ball, he gets hit in the face. But you got to stick with the process. You got to stick with Josh Allen.
Yeah, absolutely. Xander says, these guys always DM me back, best fantasy channel out there. Thank you, Xander. Thank you so much. And that kind of brings up, I'm just going to plug the podcast for a second. We had a review come in on Friday. We have 41 reviews so far with all 5 stars. Really, really appreciate that. If you guys could go over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review the show, that is how you can support us best. So go ahead and go over there. The review that came in, they didn't leave their name. They just said Fantasy Pod Fan. But I've just started following this podcast. Super informative and enjoyable to listen to. These guys know what they're talking about. I would put in brackets some of the time. And are super responsive to questions specific to your own team. Great podcast and great hosts. Thank you so much to whoever left that review. If you want to see your review up here, go ahead and leave one. We'll feature it next week. But really, really appreciate you guys showing some love and helping the podcast grow. We know that getting back to you all on all social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, that's what separates us from the big guys. We're committed to our smaller community. So you guys are the best. Thank you so much. And we'll keep rolling here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things, Mac. If you guys are watching right now, you're hanging out for the entire stream, you just like to hang out, and you're just like, I want to help these guys just a little bit more. We're not asking for your money.
No.
We don't have a Patreon right now to be like, support us that way.
No.
Couple ways you can do it. You can just watch and subscribe to the channel, but a big part about it is to review and rate our podcast. So thanks a lot, guys.
Absolutely. This is a tricky one coming in from Captain Flowers, who comes by each and every single week. So thanks so much for the question. Dallas Goddard or Noah Fant?
So I would go Noah Fant for the floor and Goddard for the ceiling.
Yeah, Noah Fant does have the tougher matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers. Drew Lock really didn't look great in his couple games of return, so I haven't been super impressed with him. The matchup is there for Dallas Goddard, so if you need a higher ceiling play, I think you go Dallas Goddard.
Yeah.
Depends on your matchup.
I do believe Noah Fant is a very good tight end. I'm not going to base my projections off of one game and a bad outlook for Drew Lock. So I still believe in Noah Fant as a tight end and an athlete.
Right. Hunter also showed it to the snap. They DM me back on Instagram. Help me with the trade. Yes, sir. That's what we do. Joker to Bravo. Deonte Johnson, Chase Claypool, or Kenny Golladay. Oh, boy. So I would go Deonte Johnson over Chase Claypool from the same team. So we'll make this a Johnson versus Golladay. Who do you want?
I'm going Golladay in that scenario, Mac.
Yeah, I probably am too. I love the volume with Deonte Johnson right now. I love how he's used in this offense, but the matchup is tricky against the Ravens. So I'll go Kenny G with you.
Yep, sounds
Landry
good.
or Justin Jefferson?
Landry or Justin Jefferson? I would go Landry.
Is it just weather related why you're not on Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, and I mean the fact that if it's in any kind of PPR league, Landry should see a lot of targets. We've seen Landry be that target hog when Odell is out. It's going to be fairly distributed now, but I still think Landry will get his. And Baker's been looking pretty good, and I think it's a floor play for Landry. But we know Jefferson could make any play he wants and take it to the end zone. So it's one of those, like, if you get two of those plays, those special plays from Jefferson, you got it. But you're going to get that every single time with Landry, and it's going to be a slow drip rather than a big ol' get it from Jefferson.
We've also seen Baker Mayfield be a better quarterback with Odell Beckham Jr. out of the lineup. Maybe there's less pressure to feed it into one guy. And like we saw the replay of him throwing a touchdown to Harrison Bryant and running over to Landry and OBJ and being like, guys, I'm sorry. Like, you'll get yours. Don't worry. And it's like, why are you apologizing? Like, just spread the ball around, score the football. Like, that's what you're paid to do. So there's that. Easy. Is Davante Adams a possible sit because of the weather, or is he an auto start regardless of weather, elements, or natural disasters? Davante Adams is an every week start. You cannot sit him when healthy. There was also a nice little nugget that I found about Aaron Rodgers. In games, this is dating back to 2008, in games below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, Aaron Rodgers has a 12-1 record with a 113.2 passer rating, 33 touchdowns to 6 interception ratio. He's fantastic in cold weather games. He lives for this. He is the king of the frozen tundra, and Aaron Rodgers will find a way to get it done.
Yeah, you can't, like, that's the thing, Mac. If you set a guy like Davante Adams, I had a guy reach out to me. He traded a guy like Julio Jones. There's going to be regrets if you trade these guys away or sit them. You got to start your studs no matter what. Yeah, they're not going to have good games every single week. Right. There's no question. This could be a bad game for Davante Adams. But the probability and the rate of outcomes for these guys are just that the studs on your team are just so much higher that you have to take that risk every single time. There's always a percentile chance that they could have a 3-point game every single time. But yeah, and there's always a chance that a guy like Marcus Valdes-Scantling outscores Davante Adams. It's possible.
Well, anything's possible.
But what do you think what's the probability chance that happens? It's low. All right.
25 of you watching, only 13 likes. Go ahead and click that like button if we've helped you out so far, or you like what you're hearing. Each little, click of the subscription button, the thumbs up every single time really helps out the channel. So that's all we're asking of you, your time and that like button. Hunter might trade one for a good wide receiver, Miles Sanders, James Robinson, or Nick Chubb. If you had to trade one of those three for an elite wide receiver, who would you do it?
That's a good question, Mac.
I think I would trade
Robinson
Nick Chubb.
Yeah, if you could trade away Nick Chubb, I think that's what you do. We have a lot of scenarios where people are trying to trade Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown, and if you need wins right now, like this week, and a win matters more than anything, you know what? Trade a guy that's hurt off your team for someone that wants the upside of the playoff contending playoff schedule for Nick Chubb. Get wins now and then figure out your playoff schedule when later, that happens.
Yeah. The thing is with Miles Sanders and James Robinson, they both have very little competition in their backfield. Like, yes, we saw Boston Scott be quite good last week. He projects to be very good this week. So if you have him, he's a nice spot start. But when Sanders and Robinson are on the field and healthy, they are the go-to guys, right? The volume is there. They are the number one look. There's no questions. Kareem Hunt has been very, very good. And he looks like him old self when he was with Kansas City. Even when Chubb was on the field, Hunt capped his upside. They're both explosive backs, but when he comes back, like, it's going to be maybe a 60-40 split. Chubb will maybe get the nod still, but Kareem Hunt will be there. And so he'll eat into his ceiling. I would trade away Chubb, get that elite wide receiver on your team, maybe a DeAndre Hopkins or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. If you can get DeAndre Hopkins on his bye week from a tilting fantasy owner, do something that like now.
That, yeah. Jamal Jones, would you bench Amari Cooper and play Hollywood Brown instead in a full PPR? I would not.
Yeah, I mean, they're both high risk players. Hollywood Brown has not shown that he is the every week start, but now Amari Cooper faces Philly that has a great pass rush with a rookie quarterback that is going to be hard to get him the ball. I believe Amari Cooper is the number one read.
He is,
but
he absolutely is. And the splits for Cooper with and without Dak Prescott has been pretty decent. Like, there's marginal differences. I did hear, however, PFF said that the value over replacement for Ben DiNucci is worth a half a point. So that's basically saying if they grab someone off the street and put him in for Ben DiNucci, it would be a half a point difference.
Yeah. I mean,
that's terrible, man.
I might like it, man. That it all depends. If you like, I just think Ben DiNucci just really does limit Amari's upside. Yeah. If you need pure upside, you could go Marquise Brown, because like we say, like, he could take anything to the house at any time. If just a mixed coverage and Lamar sees Marquise open, he is gone. But it takes that one play where you're gonna have to rely on 12 to 15 targets for Amari Cooper to get him that kind of upside.
Yeah, I just don't know if, given the Pittsburgh secondary and how good they've been, I just don't know if Marquise Brown can get enough work to be worth the play. I think it's going to have to be a bigger play for him to be worth it.
Yeah.
Whereas Amari Cooper, I think the volume is still going to be steady because he is the first look, and Philly's a hum-ho defense against pass catchers. So
there you go.
I'm probably leading Cooper, but it is close. Mark McCauley, good morning. Full PPR need 2, Justin Jackson, Philip Lindsay. I don't know who the other one. Corey Davis, McCole Hardman. Thanks. Have a great day and good luck. Good luck to you too, sir.
I would say that's Latavius Murray.
Latavius. There you go.
Raparius Murray.
Maybe a autocorrect or something like that.
Got to be autocorrect.
Not too many people typing in Latavius Murray into their phones.
Raparius Murray.
Amazing. Philip Lindsay has been upgraded to active. I'm going to start Justin Jackson there. in with the Chargers. And then between Davis and Hardman, I don't know. I mean, Hardman projects to have the best game script of everybody. It's a question of will he get the chance to work. So I'll probably go Hardman for the extreme upside. I'm not really big on the other ones. If you wanted to be safe, you go Justin Jackson, Raparius Murray.
Yeah, I'm going to start Corey Davis over Hardman here. Like I said, I don't think they're going to need a Hardman game to come out. It's going to be a Demarcus Robinson game again. So I think it's just going to be tentative work from McColl and go with Corey Davis and Justin Jackson. Those are my starts.
Okay. Captain Flowers, back with another one. I started DJ Moore and Calvin Ridley, unfortunately. Man, that sucks. DJ Moore kind of came alive in the fourth, but I don't understand why he continues to be off of Teddy Bridgewater's radar. Like, when they have to get the ball to him, he's special. He had that really nice jump ball. Robbie's not doing that. Curtis Samuel's not doing that. Just why he has to be a fourth quarter X receiver and forgotten about the rest of the game, I just still don't understand. And Calvin Ridley's injury, thank God it came back negative. It's just a grade 1 sprain, so that's good. Long term, he's fine. But to make up for that, who are you starting between Jefferson, Kupp, DJ, Jalen Reagor, Nelson Aguilar?
So this is a great question, and Captain Flowers, I really appreciate the fact that you put in the fact that you had those guys that disappointed, because that does change your answer. I'm still going to go Cooper Kupp.
Same as my answer.
I think this is a Cooper Kupp game. I do agree that Jefferson has the upside, but I think he has more of that upside in a well-conditioned dome game.
Yeah, this is at Lambeau Field. There's projected to be snow, up to 50-mile-an-hour gusts, about 37 degrees Fahrenheit. And Jefferson is likely to see the Jair Alexander corner coverage all game. So that does limit what he'll be able to do, I think. And then Kirk Cousins in bad weather games has a very poor record. So I would go Cooper Kupp as well against the Dolphins.
Yeah, totally. Great
and
question. I do want to mention to everyone that we are going to get to every single one of your questions here. So we've got 25 watching right now. We're going to get to every single one. Keep on liking the video. If you have specific stuff like during the week, get into our DMs and we can help you facilitate trades, add drops, everything you need to do, kind of figure out how much fab you want to spend on players. We'll do all that to help you out. I've spent hours. Mac and I have spending hours and hours interacting with you guys on social media. We love it. We're doing this for you guys, and we appreciate it. So hang in tight. We are going to get to every single one of your questions.
Absolutely. Jamal Jones with Phillip Lindsay playing today. Would you shade Melvin Gordon for LaMichael Pirine? Absolutely not. No.
No, I'm just going to still stick with Melvin.
G. Diaz, Gus Edwards, Singletary, or chance of return for Jalen Reagor. Man, Devin Singletary and the Buffalo Bills run game as a whole outside of Josh Allen has been really, really disappointing. Even in the absence of Zach Moss, Devin Singletary hasn't proven to be a worthy starter for your fantasy team. So I've been really disappointed in going up against New England. I don't really love the prospects of Singletary. But is Jalen Reagor in his return in a good matchup worthy of starting him over Singletary?
I would. It feels. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna still start.
I think I'm still gonna start Singletary as well. Look, I'm not thrilled about it. I don't trust that Gus Edwards is the actual one. I don't trust that they'll be able to do much against Pittsburgh on the ground. The game script for that matchup could go any which way. So I'm gonna go Singletary. Jalen Reagor, I think, is a dart throw, but Singletary is probably your safest option.
Sounds good.
Hate it.
Jefferson, Mike Evans, or Robert Woods. Yep. I'm going to go with a Robert Woods show here. Wow. I think Mike Evans is really just not seeing the volume right now that we want. It's going to be, I mean, any game could be a Mike Evans show. We understand that he could score 2 touchdowns at any given time. Chris Goddard is out. So I think the upside still lies in Mike Evans, the floor lies in Robert Woods, and the ceiling kind of dart throw, really, who knows what happens with that weather game. Jefferson is okay to play as well.
I think of the two, Mike Evans gets into the end zone. He continues to be the red zone threat for Tom Brady, along with Gronk. He likes throwing it at big targets. So Mike Evans will be the play for me. I think he gets into the end zone.
Sounds
Lando,
good.
I wanted to take a quick moment here to talk about our sponsor for the show. And if you guys have the Manscaped products or you've used them before or you're interested, go ahead and click that like button. We're going to talk briefly about, and we both got the products here. This little bag, I can't live without it now. The products have been fantastic. Manscaped has been a proud sponsor of this show for about the last month. And we're going to take a quick minute here to talk about their products. So they've got the Lawnmower 3.0, which is a revolutionary grooming product for men below the waist. And I want to say as far as that women could use it too. But for us men, this thing's great. Got a nice little ceramic blade. It's really, really quiet. Beautiful. Comes in this nice little package here. It comes with the groomer as well as a male deodorant and basically a cologne for the boys, the manhood downstairs. I really like on the shaver, it's got this little LED light. It's nice and quiet, ceramic blade, no nicking. And I'm like crazy. Like, I can't believe that I didn't have this before, because you go down there, why would you use tools that aren't designed for that area? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I really like the products. I probably can't live without them now going forward, and you guys should check it out for sure. Lando, you have anything to add to that?
That's it, guys. Just use SNAP20 promo code. Christmas around the corner. Get your if you have like a Secret Santa with your bro sifts, get them a nice ball trimmer. That would be a hilarious gift. Or get them some just crop reviver, ball toner. Like they're great gifts. Any product use. If you want to help support the show, use SNAP20 promo code. It gets you there's free shipping as well in there. Mac was saying, just if you want to help the show, and if you've already left a review and still want to just help the boys out, help your boys out with.
You got it.
With I
I just saw too, they came out with a performance package where you get the Lawnmower 3.0 and the Weed Whacker, which is like a nose and ear trimmer as well. So that's a nice little thing. And this leather bag that it comes with is usually $50, but it's part of the package right now. So go ahead, man. Manscaped, really good stuff.
All right, let's go. Going, Broseph.
Need to start one running back, leaning towards Lamichael Pirine with Gore out, but also have McKinnon and Damian Harris.
Oh man, I would start Pirine in that scenario.
Yeah. The game script is terrible, but there is the chance that Jerick McKinnon just is ghosted again, and I don't know. Between JaMychal Hasty, Tevin Coleman might be active, and I don't want to go down the McKinnon route again.
That's it. I feel you, man.
Really appreciate you guys bumping up the podcast. Love it.
Herbert or Jackson in bad weather?
I'm going Herbert. I've told people this.
I'm going Herbert as well. I still think that all things being equal, Lamar Jackson has a lot of upside.
For sure. For sure he has upside. I think so does Justin Herbert, though. So in a better matchup, I'm going that way. And then we've also got Justin Herbert or Josh Allen, which really does test the Herbert love this week. So I just saw that one below. That one's coming in from, sorry, I lost my spot here. Spencer Suttle. Justin Herbert or Josh Allen, that one's close. Both really, really good options. Where are you leaning, Landon?
I'm going to go, I'm going to go with Josh Allen, even against New England.
I am as well. It's really, really close. Both really good options. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Yeah. AF24, one for the flex, Robert Woods, Darius Slayton, or Miles Gaskin. Pretty easy one for me. I'm going Robert Woods.
Yeah, I'm down with Woods as well.
I think Gaskin is a decent play from a volume standpoint, but they are in tough against the LA Rams and Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, and yikes. Not to mention Tua, rookie quarterback. We don't know. There's certainly some unknowns. Doesn't have the same tendencies as Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I'm going to go with what I do know, and that's Robert Woods and Jared Goff.
Sounds good. We got Trey Burton or Jared Cook this week. I'm going Jared Cook in that matchup against Chicago.
I am too. I'm with you on that one.
Njoku or Lamb. This is also this is Taylor. This is Taylor. It's of course a Taylor question.
Go CeeDee Lamb.
Go CeeDee Lamb.
I can't tell someone to start David Njoku.
No, he got in the end zone. I mean, we saw multiple tight ends involved in that game. Njoku is fine. He's an athletic tight end, but he's a tight end in the end. And you got to go like, what's the point of playing fantasy football if you're playing your upside in David Njoku over like the best prospect rookie we've seen? I don't care who's that quarterback. You might get a 0 out of both guys, but like you got to go with the upside and CeeDee Lamb.
Xander asked a good question. Going back to the Green Bay Minnesota matchup with Justin Jefferson and Jair Alexander, he said, "Isn't the best corner for Green Bay not going to be shadowing Adam Thielen, or is he on Jefferson, and why?" The way that I would see this, and what my research has told me, is that because Justin Jefferson has a higher propensity to run the 9 route and go downfield, Jair Alexander will be the corner that takes him out of play down the field. So we should see Josh Jackson playing on Adam Thielen on the outside, who's their other, I believe he's in his 3rd year, corner. So Josh Jackson probably on Adam Thielen, and Justin Jefferson will get the Jair Alexander treatment. That's what my research has indicated to me. So good question, but just for the athleticism and the downfield tendencies, that's why Jair Alexander is going to be on Justin Jefferson.
I mean, I'll take your word for it. I'm not super up to date on the Green Bay coverage schemes, but I think there's a possibility that it could be Thielen. It just depends on what the coaching really wants to take away from the Vikings, I guess.
P. Captain Flowers, thanks for the love. Appreciate it. Half PPR from Anto, Marquise Brown, T. Higgins, Travis Fulgham. I'm going T. Higgins here.
I think T. Higgins presents a really safe floor. He's been a rookie that's completely broken out. Love that kid. He's going to keep on getting more and more targets, and it's going to go away from the AJ Green show a little bit. It's possible that AJ Green gets traded from that team. So I still think the upside can be in, you know what? All these guys are good options. Fulgham is a decent play. Just because he doesn't have the name value, we kind of stray away from him. But
my boy
me,
Bobble,
these are all close
in
ones.
Chat.
This is tough. Bobble's in the chat. This is tough. I would still go T. Higgins, Marquise Brown, Fulgham, but you know what? They're all decent plays.
They're all decent plays.
Decent
upside. I think given the Tennessee secondary, I would go with a pretty consistent Joe Burrow. He's made a lot of throws. He's still a top 5 passer in terms of volume, attempts per game. I think he can support Boyd, Higgins, and Green, so I'm going to go with Higgins there. Bob and I do play this week in Dynasty. I am a rebuilding team with 6 first-round picks for next year. I don't want to win this matchup, Bob. I'm putting the best field on the team, but I hope I lose.
You're putting the best field on the team.
Putting the best team on the field. Did I say field on the team? Well, either one. Yeah. Look, I don't want to win, but I'm gonna do my due diligence as a fantasy manager and put that best squad out there. But I hope you win too, Bob. So,
Klebby, what should we expect from Zeke this week, Mac? This is a great question. The Philadelphia Eagles have a very good rush defense, but it's hard to sit a guy with the name recognition of Zeke Elliott. Is the team going to lean on him? Should he consider benching Zeke for other options like a Boston Scott, Jonathan Taylor, Gio Bernard, Jamal Williams? What do you do with Zeke?
It's a tough question. For this week, I do believe you play him. Zach Martin is going to be back, and he's been a huge piece to that offensive line. But up until this point, they've only had one starter playing for their offensive line, and the Dallas Cowboys offensive line year over year has been a top 5 O-line. I mean, look back to what DeMarco Murray was able to do for this team. He was an awesome fantasy asset for you. However,
I'm going back to
DeMarco.
All right.
And Zeke's been that year over year. I mean, that's why Landon says the name recognition for Zeke is so high. But after this week, coming up to your trade deadlines, which for most of you in your leagues is week 10, I'm actually looking to trade Zeke. I'm trying to cash in on that name value. I'm trying to get away from the Ben DiNucci, Andy Dalton experience. Ezekiel Elliott has the 5th hardest playoff schedule and the 32nd hardest schedule. Or sorry, the 32nd easiest, the first hardest. He has the hardest schedule for fantasy running backs from this point onward. So I don't love the future for Zeke. I don't love the future for this team. I think they're going to be hard pressed to win the division now. And I'm kind of going to get away from Zeke if I can. So cash in on the name value, get a big trade and somebody who has a better playoff schedule. But that kind of content is what you will see in the next 2 weeks on our YouTube, on our podcast. We're going to be featuring all the players that we think you should trade for and get out from underneath. And Jonathan Taylor is going to be one of those guys that we think you should acquire in every spot that you can. So really good question, Klebby. I would play Zeke this week, but I would try to trade him before the deadline.
Absolutely. Thank you for everyone subscribing. I'm seeing them coming in right now. Honestly, we appreciate it. We're going to answer every single question. Get in our DMs. We do great content every single week, like Mac was saying. Derek is saying you should do a video on David Singletary. Or David Singletary. The mix between the ineptitude of Montgomery and Singletary is staggering. I'm not sure if those guys have the name value to get clicks, but you never know. I think these are good options that people owned on your fantasy roster. You just don't want to start.
It ain't about the clicks, man. It's about the people. If the people want a David Singletary video, that's what they're going to get.
That's it. All right.
Have you guys ever thought of doing 1v1 weekly drafts with viewers? Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, maybe. That's a good idea. I never really thought about that before, Xander, but there's another example of maybe some future content. Kevin Mason taking a flyer in my PPR league, going Pirine over Amari Cooper. Am I crazy? I think just a little bit. I think just a little crazy.
You're crazy.
You're crazy, boy.
But I mean, generally, Kevin, I do want to say that the running backs generally have a safer floor. There's nothing worse than watching a game and seeing your wide receiver not getting targeted, especially from a 7th round rookie Italian stallion quarterback.
But go ahead.
But I still think it depends on, you still got to go with upside with the talent of Amari Cooper. You will feel silly watching Amari go for 75-minute touchdown if that's what the game script is. It's one thing that Ben DiNucci does do is he's at an athletic tight end. He can get out of the pocket. He's going to be rushing the football.
Athletic tight end?
Did I say tight end? He would be if he was a tight end. No, he's an athletic quarterback. I wouldn't use the word elite. He's going to get out of pressure. He's going to buy himself some time. If you're into like props or anything, if you go on a rushing yard prop for Ben DiNucci, hit the over on that because he is athletic. So if he gets out of the pocket, he can potentially get the ball out to his wide receivers. And that's Lamb, that's Gallup, and that's Amari Cooper.
Cam Newton, this is from Angel Capriz? I don't know. Cam Newton, Matt Stafford, Nick Foles with Deshaun Watson on bye. Who do you start there? That's an easy one for me. I'm going to go with Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I've been disappointed with Matt Stafford. I think you can still start him this week.
Yeah, I mean, he did have the down game against Atlanta. Kind of came back at the end to give you that touchdown to T.J. Hawkinson for the W, but it didn't look great. But I think Stafford will be all right this week. I was super disappointed with Cam and his return, and Nick Foles is. Look, you don't want to start Mitch Trubisky. Yep. I never wanted to start Nick Foles. So,
I'm getting a coffee delivery right now. Come on in.
Goodness.
You're not on the screen. Come on in.
Drewby, don't be afraid of the limelight, girl.
Put it right there. It's coming right there. We're good.
Hi.
G. Diaz, Damian Harris, or DJ Dallas if all running backs are out. I'm going to do a quick update on some news here and see if there's any breaking stuff that we should have our eyes on. But I'd be leaning DJ Dallas over Damian Harris. He is also questionable with a hamstring.
Yeah. This is a tough one. Chris Carson could play. You don't know how much work he's going to get. Chris Carson's one of those bulldogs that just plays no matter what sometimes. It's quite possible that he's the only back in that offense, and you could definitely play DJ if he's available for the Seahawks, but it's going to be it's tricky. I haven't seen enough out of Damian Harris to make him worthwhile to start.
Yeah. I haven't seen any other news landing come in, so we're still awaiting. Sources have said that Gardner Minshew is expected to be active for next week's game against the Texans.
Inactive.
Yes, inactive. So it's going to be either Mike Glennon or rookie Jake Luton. I think I would lean Jake Luton there if I had to, but I'm not willing to start him.
That's a problem for next week.
That is a problem for next week. That is the only news that's been breaking. So no word on the Seahawks player, so I would probably go DJ Dallas. And much like Jermichael Hasty, whether it's McKinnon or Coleman getting the first looks with Wilson and Mostert out, Jermichael Hasty probably still going to be involved in the passing game. DJ Dallas is probably the same type of role. So I would go DJ Dallas in case Damian Harris doesn't get played or gets game scripted out by Rex Burkhead or James White or whoever else.
Yeah, American man, Jermichael Hasty. I'm not thrilled to start Jermichael Hasty, but he is a one-cut athletic running back, and he's in one of the best zone running games in football. So you're really hoping on the split he does get with everyone, including Coleman that could be back. Could be worthwhile for you to get it. I got to see your other starters. I understand a lot of people are in on Jermichael. I'm not really one of them, but I understand the upside.
Yeah, I think in a 12-team league where there's a lot of notable running backs on bye as well as out due to injury, I think Jermichael Hasty is a good, flex play, or even if you have two flex, like a deeper league, that's a good flex play. I'd probably be down with. Griffin into the stream. What's up, Griffin? Hunter says Justin Jefferson or Amari Cooper in a full PPR. Damn, this one's close. I still think I lean Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I think this one could bite us. It's one of those things like, why the heck are we going to trust Ben DiNucci? Why are we going to start Ben DiNucci? Why would we trust him?
It's just because Amari Cooper is first. He's the primary target. He is the first look.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jefferson, even in bad weather.
I don't want to say that Justin Jefferson has a down game, but I so many things point to down game. Weather, Kirk Cousins, the Jair Alexander treatment. It's just I just don't love it. If Jefferson does have a good game, he'll be used in a different respect due to the weather. So we'll see.
Troy, thank you for coming by. We do our best to get to every question. I know some of these live streams that people do, it is kind of a joke. I agree with you. Thanks for subscribing. I saw your subscription come in. I hope to see you back.
Absolutely. Deonte Johnson or Robert Woods. This one is close. Again, it's just a battle of the volume. Deonte Johnson in a tough matchup, who had 15 targets last week, or Robert Woods in what most people would think would be a good matchup, but Miami's been sneaky good this year against fantasy wide receivers. Who you leaning and why?
They are my DFS defense of the week.
The Miami Dolphins. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to lean...
I still lean Robert Woods in this scenario, regardless
I do as well.
Of that.
And I want to say Deonte Johnson because of the volume, because I still think he's going to rule the intermediate parts of the field. But Robert Woods, man, I love him in Cooper Kupp this week. Tyler Higbee, I believe, is still a game-time decision, which I don't love with that hamstring. I'll go Robert Woods. Robert Woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Griffin,
Sounds good.
Deonte Johnson, CeeDee Lamb, Robert Tunyan, or Justin Jefferson in a standard league. Are you still going Justin Jefferson over these options?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I'm just this whole weather scenario in Green Bay just has me.
I'm gonna continue with the Deonte Johnson love. I'm gonna go down that road. I'm gonna fade Justin Jefferson. He's been my boy. I've been on him. I just, for whatever reason, my gut's telling me there's just too many pieces of info here and too many factors that say Justin Jefferson's gonna have a down game. The Vikings in general have a down game, and we haven't talked about the Vikings on that side of the football. They are starting 2 rookie corners and 3 undrafted free agents that will be mixed in and out of their secondary in the safeties, in the safety positions. So this secondary is beaten and battered. They are without some big pieces and very susceptible to being beat. So I love the Green Bay side of the ball. I know Landon said he's not in on Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I think he's a flex play, in a deeper league. I think you can start him, but Devontae Adams should do work. Robert Tunyan should also be all right. So of this group, I would go Deonte Johnson, but I'm kind of fading Justin Jefferson a little bit.
Yeah. Is it crazy to start both Malcolm Brown and Darrell Henderson this week to lock in the points? He has DJ Dallas, Gore on the bench, deep 14-man league. In that scenario, I don't hate it. I would go Henderson and DJ Dallas in like a desperate play.
Yeah. The Seattle Seahawks want to run the football. I just don't know if they'll be able to if Chris Carson doesn't play. Carlos Hyde doesn't play. Travis Homer doesn't play. Like, they could be in tough. I would probably, just to diversify, I would probably go DJ Dallas and Darrell Henderson. But if you think that the Rams can run wild, then playing them both isn't a bad play just to secure the rushing touchdown. It's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah. If you guys are just dropping in, make sure to hit that like button on the video. We're here grinding, answering every single question like I've said. We've got another one from Angel here. Burton or Tunyan? And then he's got Cam or Foles.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go Trey Burton, and I would go Cam.
I would go Robert Tunyan and Cam.
All right.
Derek Leacott. Where did it go? It just jumped. Is it crazy? Oh, you got that one. Cool. Derek's had some good questions today. I love it. Scottie, it ain't about the clicks. It's about the people. You know it's about the people. Marquise Brown, Kenny Golladay, and Stephon Diggs. I would start Kenny Golladay, second Diggs, third Marquise Brown.
That is correct, Woo! Mac. Right answer. Ding, ding, ding.
Go Crazy TV, Tyler Boyd or A.J. Brown in a full PPR. Or sorry, we'll assume half PPR. I'm going to go A.J. Brown.
Yeah. That's close. That's really close. I mean, a full PPR, it'll be close between Boyd, but in a half PPR, AJ Brown's been on absolute fire.
Yes, he has. And you can see why he's special. He comes back to that lineup. He makes an immediate impact. Able to make the big play, red zone, upside. He's fantastic. Full PPR, need 2 out of Hollywood, Deonte Johnson or Nelson Aguilar. Nervous about Johnson finishing the game. Look, I understand with injury history.
That's a scenario, Mac, for sure.
It is, given that he played the full game last week, I'm putting that aside. I think you have to go Marquise and Deonte Johnson. If I had those 2 options, I'm not going to try to start Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
Bradley Fagan, listener league contestant. I know the 49ers backfield is one to avoid, but if you had no choice this week, are you starting Jerick McKinnon or Tevin Coleman, hoping Carson plays so I don't have to make the decision? Yeah. I mean, I would rather play a semi-healthy Chris Carson over both of these 2. I don't fully buy in to the fact that Jerick McKinnon was a plan to be rested. I just something about that just seems off. If he was going to be inactive, it would have been noted. I think there's something else going on there.
I don't think we're going to know if Carson plays until 15 minutes before the game.
Look, I agree. Man, I think if I had to choose between the two, I would go McKinnon, given Coleman's coming back in his return. But something about the McKinnon being a healthy scratch last week just for rest, just something about that doesn't sit right. I think there's a missing piece of info there that we're not being told about. So I'm not thrilled about starting either. I hope Chris Carson gets the green light. I would happily go him over the other two, but I think I'd lean McKinnon, buying into the only piece of information that we have about that situation.
Oh man, I know. I felt so dumb starting McKinnon last week. I was watching that game, and every time I saw those red sleeves, I'm like, okay, he's actually playing the game. I had Eric come into my DMs being like, man, I haven't seen anything from what happened to him. Is he hurt? And I'm like, no, man, he's not hurt. Like, he's just not playing.
Hunter said, great stream today, guys. Got to go do physics homework. The pain. Look, man. Cheers to you for dedicating yourself to your studies. It'll pay off in the long run. Take it from me, someone who is a math teacher for a living. Good for you. Derek Reyes, pick 3, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Devontae Parker, or Stephon Diggs. I'm going to sit down Devontae Parker, play both Seattle receivers and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm going to be watching that game with Tua Tagovailoa starting at quarterback. Last time he came off the bench was for Alabama, and the guy lit it up. I want to see that lefty throw. He's the only active left-handed quarterback in the league right now.
Which apparently Lamar Jackson is not left-handed. That my memory served me very wrong. Man.
So, but with that risk that he's not elite and not going to come out there and light things up, I would also agree with Mac. I hope that Devontae Parker holds his value and is good with Tua.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't really promote starting 2 wide receivers from the same team. You are, in fact, limiting your upside. But when it comes to Metcalf and Lockett, the target for them have been so high. I mean, last week was kind of a weird split. 20 targets for Tyler Lockett, 5 for DK Metcalf. DK let you down. If you got points for 90-yard chase down tackles to save a touchdown, then you're probably all right. But I think between the two of them, they have enough target volume where you want to cash in on the potential yardage that they will get as a duo, as well as the touchdowns. So starting Lockett and Metcalf, those two are going to account for like 80% of Russell Wilson's yardage. And so I think you're playing them as a pair for what they will get you as a group, not looking at them as individuals. So I'm okay with that. And then Stephon Diggs, I think, will be quite good in a Stephon Gilmore-less New England Patriots defense.
The thing is, Arizona just decided to take away DK in that matchup, and Russ made them pay, and they didn't have enough time to, and I guess they won the game. So, I mean, that's great for the Cardinals, but like they didn't shift at all. They still just took away DK, and Russ is okay with that. He's got Tyler Lockett. So in this game against San Francisco, I don't know what the Niners are going to do. I think it's going to be pretty even. So I think this relays to a DK Metcalf game, but Tyler's still going to get his work. So both those guys are
Richard
studs.
Sherman can't cover DK Metcalf, so good luck with that.
No. Is Sherman even active? I don't know.
That guy does more podcasting than playing football now, so we'll see. Derek said, this is the first channel my question has actually been answered. So when I read through the chat, I love seeing things like this. Makes it feel all worth it, Lando. I know when you jump into big streams like, our dude, Mike, the fantasy hitman from the Fantasy Footballers, been on this show. He does a great start sit every week, but he's flooded with thousands of questions. And, we get a couple hundred every time we stream, and we can get through them all. Mike, they're flashing by his screen. So, I mean, we get it. But, again, that's what separates us from the big boys. If you guys haven't already, if you could support the podcast, jump over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and review. Really, really helps out the show, as well as subscribing to the YouTube and liking the video, which I'm sure you're already doing. But if you haven't already, a rating and review on Apple Podcasts does go a long way, helps us get our podcast out to other listeners. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. Momo13724, should I drop DJ Chark or Laviska Shenault? Will James Robinson still be a good start with the QB change? I think you drop Laviska Shenault, you keep DJ Chark, and you keep James Robinson in your starting lineup.
Love that. I want to shout out Petey that just dropped in on the live stream. Petey is here.
Petey,
he is ravaged right now in his league of record. He's got McKinnon, Carson, Aaron Jones. He is in a tough spot here. Miles Sanders out. Man, this guy has to start 2 tight ends, Gronkowski and Kelsey. I'm glad to have PD in. He will get his question. We'll see if he has
hit
any
me up. I'll make you a trade. I'll make you a trade for this week, brother.
I've got one already pending with him.
Decline
Not pending.
that.
Gotta just. All right, let's get to the
should I drop Robert Tunyan and pick up Dallas Goddard and start Goddard? Thinking about weather here.
I would do that. Yeah, I would do that.
I wouldn't.
Pick up Goddard. He could be a top 10 tight end rest of season, where Tunyan's isn't quite that.
I disagree. I think they're more similar than you think. I do think that having Dallas Goddard, though, in the absence of Zach Ertz, is going to be quite great. So if you can make room on your team for him, Joker, I think you make room for both. Tunyan should have some tradability heading into the trade deadline. So maybe jump into our DMs, Instagram or Twitter at @snap_fantasy, and send us your question and maybe your team, and we can help you navigate that one a little bit better. I just saw Nicholas Pinilla, Scottie Miller, or CD Lamb. I'm gonna go Scottie Miller. In the absence of Godwin, has been quite good. You're just stuck on PD's question, aren't you?
That. I like that as well. I mean, yeah, CD Lamb is a frustrating guy to own right now. He still has upside. I do have confidence that Tom Brady gets the ball to CD or to Scottie Miller.
Deonte Johnson or Brandon Ayuk. I'm going Deonte. I know the matchup is tougher, but the volume, I think, is there.
Yeah, I think Ayuk's going to be used in all facets of the game. He could be maybe the lead running back for all I know. I still have Deonte higher in the ranks, but I do not blame you at all, Tyler, if you want to start Ayuk. He was one of my starts of the week in our podcast.
Evan Rodriguez need tight end help. Seeing these two players, yes, you do. Tyler Higbee or Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz would be my answer here, but with the unknown of Ben DiNucci and what that passing volume will look like, I don't like either option. Tyler Higbee is questionable with a hamstring. You should check your waiver wire right now, Evan, and see if Dallas Goedert is available coming back off of IR. I would check that. Another play I don't mind is Jimmy Graham, Jimmy Grandpa. I think he'll be a decent play this week. I would start him over both Higbee or Schultz.
Or Trey Burton.
Yeah, I think between those three, I mean, Goddard would be my number one, and then Burton or Graham would probably be better than Higbee or Schultz.
Yeah, so we have another question here. Jared Cook or Dallas Goedert? In that scenario, I'm going to go Jared Cook, no question.
With the absence of Sanders and Michael Thomas, it does lead to Kamara being heavily relied upon again, as well as Jared Cook and Traquan Smith.
Yeah. Tyler's asking, should he try to trade Zeke Elliott and Kareem Hunt? And it all depends on your return, Tyler. You can get into our DMs and we could talk over some trades and figure out what would be best for your team. I think if you find a contending team that wants Zeke Elliott, especially, we're really hoping, like if you're a Zeke owner, you're hoping he gets in the end zone and has a good game this week. And then that's a great opportunity to sell high on him, and you get the most out of that name value and the actual performance on the field. If he has another 8-point game, just gross 2.9 yards per carry, you're going to have a hard time selling him, even though his name is Zeke Elliott.
And for me, like, Kareem Hunt continues to be an explosive option, whether Nick...
Yeah, he's not a trade candidate for me right now.
He is not.
He is not a trade.
And I agree with you, Landon. Like, Kareem Hunt, whether Nick Chubb's been on or off the field, has been an explosive running back. When Nick Chubb was on the field, he was the third most explosive running back. He had, I believe it was at the time of Nick Chubb's departure, 11 runs of 10 or more yards. Since then, he's elevated himself from the third most explosive to the most explosive running back with 17 runs of 10 or more yards. The only player in the league to have more than him is Kyler Murray with one more at 18, but not a running back, so it doesn't qualify. Kareem Hunt will still be involved. Passing game, change of pace back with Nick Chubb on the field, and if Nick Chubb can't return for whatever reason, Kareem Hunt is a locked and loaded running back one. So trade Zeke. The schedule is awful. If you missed that part, he has the hardest schedule for fantasy running backs from this point forward. And just with DiNucci and Dalton, I don't love the game script for the Dallas Cowboys. So trade on that name value, get something in return for Zeke, and move on. This is not a year to roster Zeke Elliott.
It's tough. It's tough. He was a top 3-4 guy in a redraft.
Spencer
leagues,
Subtle with a defense question: Saints or Ravens D this week? That's tricky. I think Ravens.
I'm going Saints.
Yikes.
Hines, Kelly, Malcolm Brown, or D Harris full PPR.
I would go
gross,
Josh
man.
Kelly. Would be my number one. I kind of think that we're going to see a changing of the tides here for the Indy backfield. I think up until this point, Frank Reich has been sort of keeping the training wheels on Jonathan Taylor and using Jordan Wilkins and Nyheim Hines. He's been mixing them in and out. I think we see that stop. I don't think we're going to see 9 carries apiece for Wilkins and Hines. I think Hines will be used in a pass-catching role, but it'll be sparingly. I think this is where we take the wheels off, the leash off of Jonathan Taylor and really let him work. That's what I'm projecting. So
that's also what I'm projecting. I do think Hines is an okay play in a full PPR league, though.
Out of all of these, Josh Kelly should have the lead role or split time with Justin Jackson. Both are good pass catchers. Malcolm Brown is a touchdown-dependent play, in my opinion, and Damian Harris might not play with a hamstring, so I'm going to go with Kelly.
Cool.
Tyler
cool,
Lockett,
cool.
let me come back from a 60-point game. Dang.
Love it.
Splash triplet back again. Aaron
the-
Jones for Tyreek Hill and Will Fuller. My other running backs are Henry, Cook, and Kamara.
If you can do that right now,
Yeah.
do it, I guess. With
Aaron Jones out and Fuller on bye, I mean, Tyreek Hill is in a really, really good spot against the Jets. So hopefully they don't go vanilla offense like you're projecting, Landon. But, yeah, I mean, given your other running backs, it's good to cash in. And Tyreek and Fuller have been really good options. So, yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
Brad, really good question here. I read this one a bit ago, and it's definitely worth mentioning, especially for those of you in 12, 14, 16-team leagues. Brad's saying, let's go off the page here. Thoughts on the fantasy relevance of Albert O. 13 targets the last 2 weeks. Some college chemistry with Locke might be reemerging. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the shower narrative, there's a relationship between Locke and Albert O, and I think it should be talked about. We've seen most of those targets come through with Fant out. Now, Fant was available last week. It was a weird game script, snowy game. I think it's possible that Drew Lock will always look for his old teammate Albert O in the end zone. Albert is an extremely athletic tight end, and if you know me, I always go towards the measurables from the combine when I'm looking at tight ends. You want those move tight ends. You don't want a tight end that sits there and blocks. So I still think Noah Fant also presents similar upside. I'm not ready to buy into the narrative of Albert O, but if you're right, Brad, and you're a smart guy when it comes to fantasy, if he continues to get these targets, it cannot be ignored and he should be added in all dynasty super deep league formats in tight end premium leagues.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, he ran 18 routes in his first appearance and then 26 last week, 7 targets, 7 receptions, 60 yards. What we know about the Broncos is that they want to have elite level athletes at their tight end position. Noah Fant profiled as that coming out of college with TJ Hawkinson. They dominated for Iowa. And now we're seeing a favorable, really athletic tight end coming out of Missouri, just, like you said, teammates with Drew Lock. So Whether Albert O gets the nod over Fant, I think that is a stretch. But could they go to some 2 tight end sets should both of these guys progress? Yes, most likely, especially with Courtland Sutton out and KJ Hamler missing time. Their other rookie field stretcher, they might go to more 2 tight end sets. So I do believe that there is an outside chance that Albert O is, talked about in further down the road. So good upside piece to have, I think.
Yep.
PD.
In the chat.
Are you guys going to put together a show recapping trades? Who won, who lost in hindsight? How does Lando Snap consistently fleece everyone in trades? I think there's some good content there. Ryan, I don't disagree with you at all. Landon, that's why I said, look, PD, there's no reason to make a move with Landon. He's just trying to get the worst for you and the best for him. I, on the other hand, will hit you up with a really fair trade that will be good for us in the long run. So I think you got to come to me, really, and we've got time. So if you need something done, hit your boy up.
When you're looking at trades, and for everyone watching that is looking to make trades, you got to look for teammates in your league that are in desperate times and that have Miles Sanders and Aaron Jones out and guys on bye. If you can get them to think that they need a win there, and you have a bench player that you don't need. You've got a Sterling Shepard on your bench. You're like, listen, you are starting Chris Herndon in your flex. Like, bro, get me. Like, that's where you need to do it. And then eventually you get those trades that really work out for you, and you sell a guy you weren't starting and you picked up off the waivers, and you get a high upside guy that's on bye. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Ryan, I think you got to go. I think you got to stick with TJ Hawkinson here. I know Goddard is a really tempting play coming back, but I would roll Hawkinson.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it's a tough matchup against Indy, I still believe Hawkinson presents that mix of upside and floor. Goddard's great, and like I said, Goddard could be a top 10 fantasy asset rest of season, but that's Hawkinson as well.
Edward Hannafin, Montgomery, Deonte Johnson, or Amari Cooper in a full PPR. I'm going Deonte Johnson. I think Landon would go Cooper.
Sure, I would.
I think it's between the two. Montgomery's been a little bit disappointing that the trend kind of continues for him where the volume is there, but with Tariq Cohen out, you would think, this pass catching role is going to be better for Montgomery. He's going to be utilized, and it's just not the case. So Darnell Mooney could be a really good play for this team heading into the end of the second
play.
half
I like
of the season.
that.
Yeah, people are talking about his breakout, and I think maybe it does come.
Tony, what's up, Tony?
Yes,
I've seen your name before. I know you're a subscriber. Pick two standard scoring: AJ Green, T. Higgins, John Brown, Darius Slayton, and Corey Davis. Standard league, Mackenzie. Where are you leaning here?
Again, crazy, but I'm going to take both Bengals receivers, Green, Higgins. I'm doing that myself in a league. I'm playing them both.
Yeah.
I trust Joe Burrow. I don't trust the Tennessee defense. I think their secondary is fairly mediocre, and the target volume for both of these guys has been great. T. Higgins continues to be a red zone look for Joe Burrow. Between the two, AJ Green's volume should make him relevant, and the red zone upside for Higgins is what you want. So I'm going to go with those two.
I want to hope that John Brown is back to being healthy. The Patriots are going to take away Stephon Diggs as best they can, which should leave lighter coverage for John Brown. We've seen the Bills be better with Brown at the helm, Brown in the lineup. And I would consider John Brown. Slayton, I'm just so disappointed in. I know he's a great athlete, a good player. Just that New York Giants offense is so bad.
Yeah.
It's tough because all these guys are in a very similar tier, Tony, where it's going to be really hard to pick the right ones every week. Like, we've seen Corey Davis disappear and be hurt and then have COVID and then have him a great game.
Yeah.
Corey Davis isn't an every week starter. He's a spot start. He's a guy that you hope that when you have to start him, when everyone's hurt and injured, you start him and then he puts up a 5 for 60 with a touchdown.
Logan Johnson, I've read a lot of people are low on Kenny Golladay and high on Brandon Ayuk. Should I start him still? Thielen as wide receiver 1, Kenny G as the wide receiver 2. Gaskin at the flex. There's no reason to be down on Kenny G. He's still fantastic. He's still the number 1 look for Matthew Stafford. And this split I found a couple weeks ago. But in the first 2 games where Stafford did not have Kenny G as a receiving option, his average depth of target was under 10 yards per throw. And that's not who Matt Stafford is. When Kenny G returned in weeks 3 and 4 before their bye, he gained 4 yards per throw. He was averaging about 13 yards average depth of target, which is more downfield, more like Matthew Stafford. So Kenny G's return to this offense has really helped them stretch the field and establish the run game a little bit with DeAndre Swift. So he is an important piece to this offense, and I'm happily starting Kenny G. The volume should still be there. He is the best receiver on this team and your best option, in my opinion.
I like that a lot.
Brandon Heath asks a good question here. It's about Zeke. Zeke or Connors this week?
In that scenario, I would go with Corey Connors.
Golf.
The golf player.
You're going James Conner.
James Conner.
I would too. And I know the matchup is tough going up against the Ravens. However, if you were the Eagles game planning against the Dallas Cowboys this week, who are you going to try to take away?
Yeah, you're going Zeke.
You're selling out to stop the run. Zeke is the one player that can burn you. You want to take away the run. You want to pack the box and force Ben DiNucci to throw the ball. Have the faith that your secondary can cover this elite wide receiving core. I'm not going to take that away, but what isn't elite is Ben DiNucci, a rookie quarterback out of James Madison who didn't have a great resume coming into the draft. So I think you sell out, you stop Zeke, you pack the box, and you force Ben DiNucci to throw. And if that's how you lose the game, that's how you lose the game. But that would be my game plan as a coach going up against, if I was Doug Peterson, that's what I'd be rolling out.
Yeah, 100%. If you guys are new to the stream, make sure you hit that like button. We are going to get to every single question we have. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you have a second, leave a review. It means a lot for the podcast. If you can get to our DMs as well. We're snap_fantasy. Our DMs are open, and we are ready to go through trades, ads, drops, kind of who you're starting every week. We're willing to help you and I've spent hours with individual guys getting screenshots of their opponents, of the guys best in their league and bottom in their league to help facilitate trades. So make sure, if you like our content, if you like the stuff we're doing with you, the individual interaction, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It means a lot. And get into our DMs, and that's all we ask for. We're not asking for anything else. Just a quick review, like, subscription, all that stuff. Means a lot to us, guys.
We've got basically, Lando, 2-minute drill here before we are ending today's stream. So let's try to get through everybody remaining here. I know we've got a bunch, but we'll go rapid fire. The time for analysis is out the window. So here we go. 2-minute drill. James Conner versus Baltimore or Gio Bernard versus the Titans in a full PPR? Conner as well. Goddard or Hawkinson? Hawkinson for me as well. Okay, that's 2 questions with that. Tevin, Coleman, or Hasty in a full PPR? Hasty as well. Don't like the chance that Jerick McKinnon overtakes Coleman or Coleman doesn't play.
Brand's out here replying to people's questions here.
Attaboy, Brando. Half PPR, Mims, Corey Davis, or Henry Ruggs?
Mims, Corey Davis, or Henry Ruggs? Henry Ruggs for the upside.
Mims for the volume. No Mims Crowder, no Perriman. Should be the Denzel Mims show. I'm going Mims for the volume. Derek Reyes, would you guys trade Tyler Lockett for Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown? Oh, my God, yes. That is completely overpaying. Yes, do
that right now,
absolutely, Derek. Do that. That's ridiculous. Bars in the tuck. Good morning. Pick 2, Gaskin, Monty, DJ Dallas, Leonard Fournette, non-PPR. Thanks. Happy fantasy. Geez, that's tricky. I'd probably go
Monty should be in there for the
Gaskin,
volume.
Monty. That's what I'm going.
Gaskin, Monty, go with the volume, guys.
Yeah, Brandon's like, AJ Brown is a beast. Derrick Henry, that's a steal, 100%. And Poole.
Sell on the 40-point hype from Lockett.
I hope the Vikes put something together today, but I think Mac is going to be a happy boy this afternoon. Yeah, I think so too.
I think so.
Bobby Schmurdo, what up, boy? Fournette, Cooper, Henderson, or Lamb at the flex. I'm going Henderson.
Yeah, I'll go Henderson as well. He has a mix of volume and upside. Thanks, everyone, for coming by the stream. If you're still watching, we got a few more likes. Thanks a lot, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Get us on social, snap_fantasy. And good luck, everyone, this week. And, Mac, any parting words?
If you guys want to support the show, please, once again, go over and rate and review Apple Podcasts. Really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button and check out Manscaped products. They are our sponsor. Manscaped.com. Use the promo code SNAP20. Get 20% off, free shipping, and a nice little free leather carrying pouch for all of your goodies. Your boys will thank you. We will thank you. Thanks so much for making this stream successful once again. We love you guys. Good luck this week, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Good luck, everyone.